Hello, C4 Camp. My name is Catandra, if you don't know me already, and I normally go as Miss Cat. So you can call me whatever works for you. Um, and I'm just going to go over a little bit about me and what I do. So currently I live in Lubbock, Texas, but I'm originally from Dallas, aka Oak Cliff. I moved here about 4 years ago to get my education here. I got my bachelor's from Texas Tech University in sociology with a minor in communication studies. So I currently serve as the graduate school's admissions counselor. So I oversee 6 colleges within a university as well as work predominantly with international students um, or with students with international credentials. So I help with the post-admit, and that's just sending I-20s or, getting visas ready. I also serve interacting with deans of colleges regarding students or regarding recruitment methods. I also serve and just helping students through the academic process, helping them not only go to college, go to graduate school, but stay in graduate school, right? And I help them whatever route they need to take. I give them advice on that. I advise them. And I'm just so happy and so delighted to be sharing this with you all. This is the information that I've learned from not only being a first generation college student, but now being on the other side of actually being an advisor. So I just hope you all are safe and just be well. Bye.
All right. So hello, C4 Camp. So right now I'm just going to be doing a two-part series in which I will be going over finding the right fit. So our first part is just the typical questions that you all may ask yourself. Definitely with some of you being in middle school, some of you are getting ready to transition to high school. I know a lot of you are probably already in high school and just trying to figure out what comes next, what's our next step in this process. So part one is college for me? Right? And it's okay. It's okay if you're still having those doubts. It's okay if you're still having those fears or you're still questioning. I'm just here to just give you the facts. I'm just here to just hopefully encourage you to whatever path that you may see that works best for you, right? Also, this is my university on the screen. This is Texas Tech University. We're housed in Lubbock, Texas. I'm always an advocate, so come down here so I won't be by myself. All right, let's get started. So I don't know if you all have sticky notes with you. I don't know if you all have just a notepad to work with or just something to write with. These are questions on the next slide I want to ask that tailored not only to this series but just the series to come. Definitely maneuvering this admission process, right? So this is not just questions just for finding the right fit. This is questions you ask yourself when you're doing the admissions process. This is questions you ask yourself when you're when you're doing your financial aid. This is questions you ask when you're actually applying for college. Like, these are questions that I want you all to vividly remember when you're trying to, one, figure out, is college for me? And two, figuring out, well, what works best for me, right? What's my perfect fit? Which college should I attend, right? How long should I attend? Like, these are good questions to just maneuver with through this process, right? So let's get into them. All right. Questions. Is college for me? Right? So when you're asking yourself that question, I want you to first think of, like, where do you see yourself in the future? I know I don't want you all to just limit yourself to what you think is realistic for you and for your current situation, but I want you all, if you had a blank canvas and you could draw whatever you wanted on that canvas and whatever it was it's yours, what do you picture? Like, what would it be? Like, what would your picture manifest in your life, right? So for example, I know for me, for a while I had this crazy dream of being a TV host. Right? I had my theme song. I had, like, that was something I was passionate about. right? And on my show, it was just gonna spread nothing but good news. Like that's all that's gonna be my show. Just people making good moves. I wanted to advocate for that. I wanted to show people that on my show, right? I want to bring them in and be like, oh, you've been such a good person. Now here's $1,000, right? Like that was my train of thought, and I wanted to do that. Right? So that's how I saw myself. That's a career path I saw for myself, right? And I don't want you all to just think in terms of what you want to be, but the person you want to become, right? You can think of that. You can think of material things too if you want to. You can think of, okay, I want to have this car, right? I want to have, like for me, I want to have 7 bedrooms and 8 an 8.5 bath, right? And I want a freaking fountain that spells my name, right? It's outrageous, but that's that, right? And then I want y'all to think about what problems you want to solve in the world. I remember in high school we had a career day, and everyone went around the room and said what exactly they wanted to be. Y'all, like exactly, like these students were on it. They were like, hey, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer. We had one student who actually wanted to be a pharmacist. We had a student who wanted to be a chemist. Like we had all of that. It was a variety of just that motivation, a variety of career paths. And when it got to me, I always knew I wanted to be a TV host. But at the same time, I knew I wanted to be more effective even in the now. So all I can think of at that moment was the problems I wanted to solve, right? I wanted to solve domestic abuse, right? I wanted to solve, and just giving those women resources and those men resources, right? I wanted to solve education. I wanted education equity, right? I wanted the same opportunities that kids in different neighborhoods had. I wanted that. I wanted to solve homelessness, right? In my community, it was just so bad, and I wanted to solve, and I just wanted to solve just so many things, and I just wanted to be that change agent. Even childhood hunger, that was something I wanted. Dallas ranks number 5, right? Like I wanted to be that productive even in the now. Right? So that moves to our next question, asks you like, what gifts do you possess right now? And when you're doing this, when you're sitting down and pondering on it's college for me, well, what do you have to give now? Some of you, when I went to the last year, when I saw you all at the talent show, some of you are good actresses, right? Some of you are great dancers. Some of you are great painters. Some of you are great singers, but not only thinking in terms of your physical possessions, but some of y'all are intellects, right? Some of y'all will be professors. Some of y'all will, some of y'all will, just go out and do very good things. Some of y'all have great hearts. You have pure hearts, right? Some of y'all are sweet. Some of y'all are loving. Some of y'all have straight passion, like just patience. Some of y'all will be natural born leaders. Like, right, you'll be running CEO companies, right? I see it. You'll be running like Fortune 500 companies. You'll even probably branch out and do your own. Some of y'all will be basketball players. I've been playing basketball with y'all, right? Like these are the things that you already possess. Right? And even in the now, the question becomes, how can you use them? Right? When y'all are, and even in your daily lives, when you're just thinking about, is college for me? Right? Some of y'all, those are like just good questions to have and write down. And I want to leave it blank for how can you use them now, because that's up to you on how you feel best fit to use your gifts and the skills and talents that God just so freely gave you. So when you're just maneuvering this question, is college for me? I just want you to ponder on those questions, right? Where do you see yourself? Well, what do you want to solve? And what gifts do you got right now? And how can you, even in this current moment, in this current transitional world is facing, how can you use them to make the world a better place, right? So I know the next thing I want to touch on is something we all have to go over, is weighing the cost, right? Um, I want to go over the pros and cons of college, right? Um, so we're gonna do the biggest con, and I put it in red for a reason, right? It's a negative more, right? So the biggest con I always hear of college is debt, right? I know students is like, I don't want to be in debt. I don't want, because when you're in debt, you get it's so much further questions, right? Right now we're in $1 trillion in student loan debt, right? That's what America, the United States, is facing right now. And that's been more of the bigger debates that's going on in our country right now, because that's kind of what is really affecting our monetary situation is school debt, right? But I tell kids all the time when they're and this is just for you. I don't want you to be fearful of debt, because there's ways you can get out of it. There's ways you can limit the number of debt you have, right? And I want to go into those fun tricks later on when I walk y'all through the financial aid process. But I want y'all to know that there's ways to get that debt down. Like maybe it's doing work study. Maybe it's paying $50 a week if you can on your loan. Maybe it's taking out half a loan, right? Like you don't have to accept the whole package they give you. You could do half, or maybe it's taking out exactly what you need, right? There's ways so you won't be in too like so much debt, right? And then another con, this comes up too in the presidential debate, is if too many people have a bachelor's degree, it dilutes the value of a bachelor's degree. And this comes up in debates when we're talking about having free college for all, right? They were starting it off at the community college, having the community college be simply free. Like this is a debate that's been going on since the last presidency, right? Like this is something that's so current, and people are just like, I know some people are thinking, well, if everybody get a bachelor's degree, then that means I'm have to have a master's degree to have an entry level job, right? To have that big paying job, I'm gonna have to have a master's degree. Like those are some of the costs you pay, right? When you're just sitting down and thinking about it, is college for me, right? And then next one that's come up is like many college graduates are employed in jobs that do not require a college degree, right? Sometimes we're at a college, and then I'll tie the next one in it, that recent college graduates are underemployed. Sometimes we're at a college, you don't have that experience that they're looking for sometimes in being the high labor field, right? And sometimes when students are unemployed, it's because some jobs, not all, but some jobs would rather take an employee who doesn't have a degree, because they don't have to pay them much. And then the second part of that is the underemployed, where a college graduate would rather be employed when they know they're undervalued at that position, just so they can have a job, so they won't have to be an unemployed. So those are kind of like the cons of college, right? But I want to get into the pros. I like doing the bad news first. So let's get to the pros, right? All right, so the pros of college. College graduates make more money than students with a high school diploma. So you all know I like research, right? So the University of Tennessee did a study where they found that most, like, students with a college degree would make $570,000 in a lifetime, more than a student with a high school diploma. Y'all, that is over $500,000 you would make just saying yes to a degree, right? Like when you think about it, the debt may not be that much, right? That may be something you want to look into. Next, employers often seek applicants with a college degree. So employers, when they start looking at some applicants, they will choose you because you got a degree over someone who with a high school diploma. And it ties into the third one, just because college exposes students to diverse people and ideas, right? So when employers are seeking applicants, they need to know, one, you can work with multi-generational people, because if you're working at a high-level firm, just know you're going to be working with a large range of age groups, and college gives you that exposure. When you're working in those large firms, or you say you want to be a teacher, college gives you that exposure, or even a professor, college gives you the exposure to working with people with different political beliefs, or people with different religious beliefs, and people of different races. Like, it gives you that just that diverse people, like just that sorry, just that diversity that you need to access. So that's why employers would rather seek you than someone who just has a high school degree and probably has not had that amount of exposure that you've had. And then it all turns down to the fourth one. College provides networking values, right? So when we're accessing college, and this is my biggest pet peeve, right? Most jobs won't come from you applying. Most jobs will come from word of mouth, right? Most jobs you will come from you knowing someone, and knowing someone who know the boss, and that person taking a chance on you. So when you're in college, you have a wide range of networking opportunities, right? You have it with your professor, you have it with your academic advisor, you have it with you can have it with pretty much anyone, even low, like down to the janitor, right? The janitor open doors to the CEO offices. Like, you have that networking experience. You don't know they know, right? So that's the pros. And lastly, my sister was like, "Don't put this on here," but I want to put this on here because right now, when you're thinking about college for me, I want to point out that COVID-19 may be in a small way beneficial, right? It's not. I'm not saying Corona is good. It's not. But now more schools are more lenient towards students, right? So they're not requiring. Some schools aren't requiring SATs, ACTs, and GREs. I do think they still need the GMAT. I don't think that's waived yet. I think it is, so I don't know. But most schools are being more lenient, and y'all, they're doing it up to, and just check in with the schools, but they're doing it up to the summer 2021, right? So that gives you time to navigate this process of knowing whether or not college is for you, right? And also it gives you time to say, you know what, I'm just going to start out at a community college. There's nothing wrong with that. Or it's, you know what, I'm just going to do this distant learning thing because I don't want the coronavirus. I don't want to be around people, right? Like, this is just the ways you can navigate it, right? Regarding the current circumstances this country is facing, right? So it could be beneficial to you if you take advantage of it. So next, I just want to go over to some famous people who didn't go to college. Most of these y'all probably know. Just two fun facts on here, then I'll move on. Bill Gates actually did go to college. He went to college. He went to Harvard University for 2 years, and then he dropped out. So technically he did go to college, but we just gonna put it on here because he didn't get a college degree. Lastly, I want to do Beyonce. She was in her prime, so she was doing Destiny's Child, so she didn't even finish high school. So literally it's using those gifts you have now. But like I said, I'm a big advocate for education, for higher education. So y'all know where I stand, but look, if it works, we're just talking about what works best for you. And just a lot of these names, again, you all know. But I put the surprise face, because when I was doing my research, y'all, I did not know Lil Wayne went to college. I did not know, but he did. He finished, I want to say, at the University of Phoenix. He got a degree, right? So even Lil Wayne got a degree, right? And then Viola Davis, I want to pinpoint her. If you have time, just look at her life story. It's so inspiring. And she has so much perseverance. And she went to Juilliard, and as you all know, she's won many Emmys, and just she's just such a good inspiration for even you all in this camp. So just take a look at her, and the rest of the list you all can look at. You all can look into if you want. But let's move on, lastly, my last slide for you all is just knowing that even God is in every decision that you make. But He should be, right? So even in navigating as college for you, just know God is already in the midst. He's sending people to you. He's sending resources to you. I don't want you all to ever feel that you don't have the access that you need for college. You do. And not only can you access college, you can finish it. And not only you can finish it, if you want to go higher, you can go higher, and you will make a mark on this world, just because God knows the plans that He has for you, and they are to prosper you and are not to harm you, and He will give you a hope in what a future. And as always, you all, I just hope you all be safe. And just when navigating, you can look over back at those pros and cons if you want. But I do, like I said, I'm a big advocate for higher education. So I do hope if you all have any questions regarding it, feel free to reach out to me. I am so open in helping you navigate it even further, if I wasn't able to convince you yet. So just get ready. Yeah, and just moving on with our next series, our part 2 will be more interactive. I'll actually be going through some different things so y'all can find your right search and whatever works best for you all. But just y'all just be safe and y'all have a good time, and I hope to see you in my next video. So let's hope you come back. All right, y'all. All right, bye.